Hello students, and welcome to your last assignment in your Week 6 folder. This assignment is titled Week 6 Inquiry, Designing a Firework. This assignment will tie together everything we've learned in Week 6 in regards to electrons and talk about another form of technology that we can use when it comes to electrons and any quantum mechanics that we've talked about. This is the larger assignment for Week 6, so you'll find that it is in its own content folder, meaning it has other resources for you in there. In order to access this assignment, you need to click on the Week 6 Inquiry Designing a Firework title link, and that will bring you into the inquiry folder. There's a brief overview that you can read here, and then as you scroll down, you'll notice that there are resources available for you. Now, it's entirely up to you on if you want to watch these resources. They do help provide information in regards to color, sound, things like that. However, again, it's optional. And you'll notice there are 4 videos that you can watch. Most of them are rather brief. And then there are some other resources that you might not have seen before, where it's actually leading you to either a PDF file or an outside website. So you'll notice it has sound of fireworks, shapes, colors, and anatomy. And you can click on these links here and those will open into a new tab to open the resources that you can use when it comes to making your firework. Now, once you're ready and you feel comfortable with what we've learned in Week 6, you've used your resources or watched these videos, you can come down here to where your assignment is located. And this assignment is in the form of a discussion. So when you are ready, you're going to click on the Week 6 Inquiry Designing a Firework title link, and that's going to bring you into a screen that looks like this. Now, the first time you click on this, you might not see this area here. It'll probably be blank, and that's because this discussion has 2 parts to it. The very first part, in order to complete the very first piece that you need to do, you have to click on this Create Thread button. And that's going to bring you into your information for part 1. So once you get into your instructions for part 1, I would definitely take time to read the information. But ultimately what part 1 has you doing is designing a firework that you want. So for part 1, you're the customer. And I want you to draw a firework on a piece of paper that you would want someone to make for you. This should include a minimum of 2 colors, so you want to make sure that you have colors in there. You want to make sure you have an appropriate shape included, and you can use the link that was in your resources to see the different shapes that you want. You can describe a sound. This doesn't have to be included, but if you want a specific sound, you can include this as well. And then with your drawing, I do recommend having a written description next to it saying what colors you want, what shape you picked, as well as a sound if you want any. So have that sound description written out. You want to be as specific as you can because if someone's going to design your firework, they need to know exactly what you want. So I'm looking for those 3 things and I want you to be specific with your paragraph. All of your drawings or anything that you hand draw or write should have your handwritten name on it. So make sure to include that. And then once you're done drawing, you're going to take a picture, whether you're using a mobile device, an iPad, whatever it may be, and then you'll simply submit a picture of your drawing into the discussion, and I'll talk about how to do that. Now, if you find that you don't have the resources for this, there are other options. Please email me so I can help you with that part. And then when you're done drawing and you want to submit your drawing, when you scroll down here, it has this submission area. In your subject, you just need a title. It doesn't have to be anything special. I just typed in the word firework. You can type information here. So say you want to include your description, but you don't want to write it on your picture. You can actually type it here if you want to. But your picture, when you include your picture, you're going to scroll all the way down and hit this Browse My Computer button. That'll upload the folders for you, and you can click on whatever file you're trying to attach. Once you find that file for your picture, you'll click Open. It'll attach that file for you, and then you'll hit this blue Submit button, and it'll submit it to me for grading, and then it will also open this thread up for you for the second part. So the first part, again, is just drawing the firework that you want. Make sure you include at least 2 colors. You're going to include a shape and then a sound if you want one, and then just make sure you have a description. Now for the second part, you're going to be actually designing a firework for a student. And you're going to have to be on this page in order to access the instructions. So you'll notice that my instructions are here, Week 6 Inquiry, Designing a Firework Part 2. You'll click on this link, and that's going to bring you into the second part of this assignment. The second part has 2 steps to it. The first part has you looking at other students' fireworks, and you're going to pick one that has not been done or claimed in order to finish your assignment. So what I want you to do when you go back is you're going to have to leave a comment saying, I will make this for you. And that way other students know that you're working on it, so nobody takes that project from you. So in order to go back to your thread overview, there is this link here that says Topic, Week 6 Inquiry, Designing a Firework. If I click on that, it'll bring me back into my thread overview page. And I'll notice that there is one student here. And let's say I want to claim this firework to design. If I click on their thread title, it pops up with their information. I can hit reply in that blue button and say, I will make this for you. Then hit the blue submit button, and that pops up here. So that way, if another student is looking at this one and they open this, they can see that someone's already claimed it. So you don't have 2 people making the same thing. And that's what I wanted to avoid. Once you claim the firework you're going to design, you're going to go back into that thread overview and go back into the part 2 instructions. And then you're just going to do step 2. So now, similar to all the other little inquiries that we've done in other weeks, you can present this any way you want to. I'm not picky. What I want is to know that you have the material that I'm looking for included and the main learning done. So you can do a voice thread with this. You can do a brochure. You can draw it on a piece of paper as long as your handwritten name is on it. You can do a Word document, a paint project. You can do a video recording of yourself. Whatever you can think of, it's entirely up to you. I'm not requiring you to have a specific type of project with this, but I am looking for specific information. So you need to make sure that you're including that information. So for step 2, the information that I'm looking for includes an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. The introduction is simply the purpose of what you're doing. Why are you doing this? You could simply say, I'm making a product for a customer who wants a specific type of firework. So that way someone knows what you're doing. The body of your information should include the drawn model or anatomy of the firework. There is a small picture here. However, there is another site in your resources that you can use in order to learn about the anatomy. And then it does talk about other pieces that you might need to have, like a lift, charge, or fuel. If you have any breaks, meaning a separation in your firework. Do you have a specific type of fuse you want to use? Things like that. So you want to make sure you draw a diagram and include some of the basic pieces that you would need and make sure that it's labeled. And labels would be like these words here where it's labeling this anatomy. And then you want to make sure that you talk about the desired shape for your stars. And this is one of the things that I'm also looking for. So the stars are those little balls that are included in the firework that ultimately give us the color and the shape. So you want to talk about how you placed your stars in order to get your desired shape. If your customer has a shape that's a little more complicated, you might have to do a little more research and look into how you would place these stars in order to get that shape. And then also, if they have a specific sound they want, a lot of the sounds from fireworks come from the shape of the tube, as well as the way that the pressure is released. So you want to make sure that you're looking into things and you can do research on this. It's not something where you have to go strictly off of memory. So make sure that anything with the diagram, anything with the shapes or how you have things laid out, you can look into that by using online resources and things like that. I just ask that you include your citations for any websites that you've used. So that's the body part. And then the last part is the conclusion. And this is the part that I'm going to pay a lot of attention to because the conclusion is going to talk about the elements that you used. It's also going to talk about the quantum mechanics behind why we do this. So I'm looking at what elements did you use to get the desired colors. And then I want you to talk about the quantum mechanics behind it. So you're explaining to your customer how this works, why the elements that you use actually matter when it comes to making these fireworks. And then talk a little bit about the emission spectra and how this relates to the flame color that we would see overall. So those are the things that I am looking for. And then again, make sure you cite any sources that you use outside of our class. When you're ready and you have your presentation, your project, your product, whatever it is you're making, when you have this done, you can submit this as a reply to the student's firework that they drew. So how do we do that? So when you're done taking notes of this, you can go back into this topic, Week 6 Inquiry, Designing a Firework. I'm going to go back to the student's firework that I did. So again, I claimed this one. And then submitting my final product for this student. I'm going to hit this blue reply button. And it's going to open up a new reply. And then I can either include a website address if I use, say, a VoiceThread or a YouTube video. I can submit a file, whether it's a Word document, a picture, whatever it may be. And I will just simply submit my final product here and then hit the blue submit button again. And that will submit my final product. Anytime that you do a reply to somebody or create a new thread, it always pings me to grade something. So that's why we can do these discussions this way. And I want you to make sure that when you are submitting your information, that you're paying attention to the rubric that I made as well. And that can help you not leave out any information that you might need that I'm going to be looking for. So where can I find this rubric? If you go back into the Week 6 folder, and then I go back into the inquiry piece for designing a firework, you'll notice all the way at the bottom there is this Week 6 Inquiry Designing a Firework rubric PDF file. If I click on that, it's going to open in a new tab. So you'll see here I have the point breakdown of what I'm looking for. It includes part 1 where you're the customer designing a firework, and then it also includes part 2 as the engineer actually making the firework. And you'll see the point breakdown. We have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion pieces. So the very first part where you're drawing the firework is worth 6 points. Make sure to take note if you miss your handwritten name that I'm not going to give you points. I do require that if you're drawing something. I do not want online pictures done for that. And then part 2 is 24 points total. And those are going to be the things that I look for the most when it comes to giving or when it comes to earning points for this project. So as you do this, make sure to email me if you have any questions. Just make sure that you're following the directions and using the rubric to help you. Once you're done with the Week 6 inquiry assignment, if you are doing the honors track, you can feel free to go ahead and do the honors assignment. Otherwise, if you are not on the honors track or you're not wanting to complete the honors assignments, you can go ahead and go to Week 7 if it's open. Otherwise, make sure to check the PACE chart to see when the Week 7 folder will open for you. Good luck, and then as always, let me know if you have any questions.